Hey guys, this is John. I'm playing Checharov in the 5-minute pool in ICC. Let's play Sicilian against Checharov. And open Sicilian. Maybe I'll play a classical. If there's no deviations along the way, there is not. Ooh, f4. Okay, so this move I'm not familiar with. Huh. I could play g6 and try to take it into dragon territory. Could do something else, just like e6, something solid. Huh. Okay, let's play e6. We'll just keep it in kind of Scheveningen territory, classical territory. Then the knight back to f3 immediately. Well, let's just develop. We'll find out what his idea is. Could transpose to like some sort of Najdorf style position, like a6 now maybe. I'm not too worried about e5 yet. Actually, e5 might not even work for tactical reasons. I guess he's going to transfer the queen over here and look to get an e5 shot in when he's attacking h7. It makes sense. Okay, let's play e5 ourselves. I just want to shut down that pawn push and restrict this bishop. I mean, this bishop is going to have a hard time activating once I've played this. Okay, b5. I'll be curious to see where his play is coming from. I can fianchetto this light square bishop. I could play like rook b8 maybe, looking to play b4 at some point. I think rook e8 is a pretty good move too. Rook e8, maybe knight here. Could fianchetto the bishop. It's perfectly acceptable too. Let's play rook e8. I think this is useful. Like frees up the f8 square for my bishop. He doesn't really want to play f5 because that shuts down his kingside play. He'd rather, I think, keep the tension between the f and e pawns. Knight h4. This knight is kind of hanging out here. I have a queen-bishop battery, but I can't exploit it per se. I wonder if d5 at all is an option. d5 pawn takes, knight takes. Could be interesting. Looks sharp. Let's try it. Hope I don't get hurt. d5 pawn takes, knight takes, queen e4. Potential problem here. Okay, I was thinking about it, but now I'm not so sure. What about just pawn takes f4? Then if bishop takes, knight h5? Okay, let's do that. I think he just has a little trouble like recapturing on f4, basically, with the possibility of knight h5. I definitely play slower in these systems that I don't know as well. Okay, so he's allowing this move? All right. Show me what you got. Let's see the refutation. You can't go rook g4. My light square bishop covers that square. So it seems to me I'm winning an exchange. If the rook moves back, I just take on h4. So I think he has to let me take on f4. And just move his knight or something. Knight f5 or whatnot. Yeah, he plays it. Okay, so we take this guy. If bishop takes, I can take on f5. Pawn takes,
check.
maybe bishop f6 thereafter. So let's just take this way. Yeah, he's going to have a little bit of compensation. But an exchange is an exchange. I am not unhappy about this at all. So we'll just defend d6. Maybe I'll play f6 too, just as a way to fortify the dark squares. I'm a little worried about his knight coming into d5, but I think if I, let's say, play f6, and if in the event of knight d5, just capture and stick my knight on e5, it should be all right. Yeah, so let's do this. If knight d5, I may not take it immediately. Because if I take it immediately, knight e5, he has bishop f5, and he can try to get into e6. So maybe on knight d5, I'll play queen d7. Okay, so let's just put this here. Now this is nice because I can eliminate this light square bishop. Now if knight d5, maybe I will take. He takes, and then knight takes d3. Yeah, that looks like a valid plan. Seems to me he got a little carried away with the knight h4, immediately followed by, well, actually just knight h4 itself. f4 had already been played. So probably just move 13, knight h4 was inappropriate there. Plays a4. All right, this is no problem. Knight d5, we're going to take it, and then take on d3. Plays there instead. d5, he can take on e5. Okay, let's grab this guy. And then I think d5 next move. Should be promising. What if he'll take with the pawn or the queen? If queen takes, he frees up the g3 square for his knight to go to. But, you know, I'll have good moves against that too. Queen c7 comes to mind here too because of bishop c4. d5, he might play e5. I guess this is idea. Nah, that's all right though. This move is screaming out to be played. Opens up my rook on d8. I'm very centralized, so this pawn break makes perfect sense. a6 is hanging, but he doesn't really have time to take it. If he takes it now, I take on e4. And if he takes my pawn first, then bishop takes d5. Threatens all sorts of things. Against that one, I was thinking bishop f7. Yeah, let's go bishop f7, because if he takes on f6, he loses his knight on e2. So now I might just win e5. He could play knight g3, f takes e5, knight f5. Or this one. Ah, he's starting to come into c6. Missed that. I missed that tactical detail. That's a bit annoying. But I think I might be able to trap his knight. Okay, let's see. So knight c6, queen here? Well, he's coming into f5 anyways. Okay, I'm surprised. I don't know if he didn't see knight c6 or what. All right, so against this, probably queen e6. Queen e6 or queen d7. Probably queen e6. Yeah. So we stay defending this pawn a couple times. His bishop's under attack. He can play bishop g5. I can just play rook c8 in that case. I have to watch g7, like he could swing his queen over. Not now, because I just take on f5, but that is possible for him. Okay, so against this, probably here. Just to cover e7. I'm looking to play bishop g6 next move. I'm up a pawn plus the exchange, so this is for sure winning material-wise. I just have to consolidate my king. Queen f3, I think I can still play bishop g6. I don't see any potential problem with f8. Yeah, this is going to be sufficient. I think he has to retreat his knight now. And I can take over this file. He can scarcely trade rooks. That's just total suicide if he does that. I think I can grab this pawn. It's greedy, but what is he going to play? Take on e5? I just take here. I don't understand. So he played pretty loosey-goosey there. He paid the price, starting with that knight h4 move. I'm surprised, though, if he had chosen knight c6. I was preparing to give up that rook on d8. So after the capture on e5, knight c6, I was originally thinking about this move, but he has discoveries, so maybe maybe I should actually just play queen e6. Take and then just recapture. And I guess I'm up 1 point to material. It's opposite color bishops, though. I do have these strong center pawns. Black is undoubtedly still a lot better, but it's not as good as just being a solid exchange. So knight d4 was an oversight. Let's go back and have a look at it. So f4, I could play g6 and take it to a dragon. I know that this is an acceptable line in the dragon. But I just wanted to keep it with a more Scheveningen flavor. Scheveningen, Najdorf, classical Sicilian flavor, whatnot. They all kind of meld together. Depends if I play a6. It depends what minor piece arrangement I have. Let's just put the engine on. I am open to suggestions in this position. Queen b6, I thought about that briefly too, to attack the knight. And if bishop e3, like maybe I can get away with taking on b2. It's dangerous, though. They get to do stuff like this and attack c7. Never quite sure of these complications. I think e6 is reasonable, though. He just played knight back to f3. Seems kind of like a premature application of this kingside attack plan to me. I know he wants to put the bishop on d3. It's possible this is just transposed to some sideline of like the f4 Najdorf, now that I played a6. And his formula is he wants to put the queen on h4 and then play e5 and play for checkmate. But given that I have this battery against h4, I don't know about the wisdom of this approach. I played e5 just because I thought he might want to play e5 on me. Knight b4 is possible. Well, let's say I just play something like b5. Then this knight is loose. And what can happen is like a good tactical idea to remember. Say it goes fe, fe, and I play knight d7. You can get in trouble because of stuff like this. Attacking h7 and also c6. I guess in this case I might have a defense, but that's something that black has to watch out for on a regular basis. I could just play like queen c7, but again he gets into e5. So I think now that his queen is on e1, it's appropriate to play this move for me. And it shuts down his light square bishop, so it's blocked in on this diagonal now. He played king h1. Yeah, knight d5 makes sense. The computer prefers that move, just to jump in and exploit the weakness of this square. I'd probably play bishop e6, in which case he can take on e7 if he wants. Queen takes. Black's pretty solid, but white does have the bishop pair. So instead he plays king h1. I played b5. Better to play this move now, I think. Well, yeah, maybe a4 is a good reaction. Trying to undermine. And then if b4, now knight d5. Attacking this pawn. Yeah, this looks nice for white. b5 might be a mistake. Maybe I should just take on f4 immediately or play rook e8 right away. I could put the bishop on e6. This looks like a nice square for it, but I wasn't sure in view of knight h5. And he also has f5 with tempo. g4 is possible too, but I don't think I really want to exchange the light square bishop for that knight. So I'm slightly unclear about where to put this light square bishop, I guess is my overall point. Maybe e6 just is the best move, or I mean, I'm hesitant to play h6 to stop knight g5 because that weakens the king side. That gives him something to chomp on when he takes on e5, and like his bishop will be attacking this pawn. So I was hesitant to do anything that weakens the king side. In my experience, it's usually best to just keep the h and g pawns where they're at in these structures. So b5, a3 though, then rook e8. This move always looks mysterious in the Sicilian, but it frees up the f8 square. I have tactical ideas along the e file too, once the tension is resolved between the f and the e pawns. So it's kind of like a far-reaching move. Yeah, and this just seems to be a mistake. Probably he should take on e5, maybe. I could take with the knight or the pawn. Let's say pawn takes. And now knight h4 is safer, right? Because if I take here, he has queen takes with the threat on h7. Pretty disastrous. Also the threat on the knight. Yeah, so maybe he should just capture on e5 first, clarify the central situation, and then go about the plan of knight h4, f5 if he wants. But he did this, and yeah, this looks like the proper way to pinpoint it. And he might just have to sacrifice a pawn or play down the exchange as he did. But I think I'd rather go back and beat down the pawn, but have good chances just to recover it with bishop takes f4. I guess I could play knight h5, computer's pointing out. But then he comes in here, adds another attacker. Decent chances he gets this pawn back. Because I don't want to go to extreme measures like this. If I play bishop g5, he swaps, and now his rook is attacking. Not to mention there's this fork here on the two rooks. But he took with his rook, and then knight h5. Oh, that's funny. I didn't consider g5 at all. Yeah, I mean, if you showed me this position and said black to move and win material, I would probably look at g5 in addition to knight h5. But during the game, I just had it in my head that I was going to play knight h5, probably because that would have been the answer to this move as well, attacking the knight and attacking this bishop. But having g5 come to mind naturally in a blitz game is a little tougher. Yeah, that would just be a fork on the knight and the rook. Fortunately, knight h5 is also good. Actually looks to be equivalent, according to the computer. He played knight f5 and we'll go
Check.
up the exchange. So I thought that he should play knight d5 sooner than he did. Like right here, for instance. Because if he plays knight d5 now, and we swap and I put my knight in on e5, at least he can play bishop f5 then, and try to get the bishop to e6. It'll be pesky on this square. It's anchored by the pawn. I can't easily get rid of it. Whereas in the game when he waits a move, he played what, like rook f1 or something? When I played knight e5, if he jumps in now, it's a lot easier. I can just swap and then take on d3. If like queen takes, I can already induce more exchanges with queen e2, hitting the rook and the queen on d3. So he might have missed the counterplay a bit right there. Played a4, undermining, but it just seems to be kind of slow. I get to take on d3. Yeah, d5 must be good. Probably I reacted poorly to this move. Yeah, I can just take, can't I? Because if bishop takes, now bishop f7 is the e-file pressure I was looking for. Okay, well, that's a simple move order inversion I could have taken advantage of. I played bishop f7 right away, but overlooked the strength of this move. Yeah, I should just take on e5, and he can't take back. He'll lose a piece down the file. I guess he could maybe play queen f3 or something. So if queen takes e5, queen takes f7, but even that is probably losing. Yeah, and so is just moving the bishop away. He's still got the same problem. So a little bit sloppy. In the event of knight d4 here, pawn takes, knight c6, queen d6, knight takes d8, rook takes d8, yeah. Black is up a solid pawn, and I'm still much, much better. But, you know, being minus 1.5, 2, and an opposite color bishop is not, an opposite color bishop position is not the end of the world for him. So he played knight f5, though, making it a lot easier. And now I think he's just lost. There's only tricks I have to watch out for, basically. Yeah, and huge blunder at the end, but it doesn't matter. Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that Sicilian game. I'll be back tomorrow with another Blitz game. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.